Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading The Lost Metal. So The Lost Metal is the fourth and final book in the Era 2 of the Mistborn series and the seventh and final for now book in the overall Mistborn series, because I know that there is at least another era coming. I think two. I could be wrong. But this is part of the bigger Cosmere universe, which is fantasy, and I will link the videos for the previous books in this series in the description if you want to check those out before you check this one out, and I will also link the playlist up there. And I want to say that there are definitely spoilers in this reading vlog for this book and obviously the previous ones as well, and let's get into it. Okay, I am 1/3 into The Lost Metal, and that is page 164. And this book is set 6 years after the end of Bands of Mourning, which I was not expecting. And things are definitely different. Like, some of the things in their world are different because of their relationship with the people that they found from the south, and also some of the characters are in different positions themselves. Like Wayne and Marcy are now partners, and Wax is a senator and he has a child, and their city is on the verge of a civil war, which Wax is trying to prevent. And we see Marcy and Wayne, like I said, they're partners now, and they are, working on their mission, and they find some people from that group that Wax's uncle and sister were / are a part of. One of them is dead, one of them is alive. And so they find those people and they find spikes, and Marcy takes 4 spikes back. And one of those spikes is made of trellium, which is the metal that the spike that Bleeder / Palm had that was controlling her, or kind of controlling her, possibly controlling her. And it's a metal that is not from this planet. She takes that metal to Wax, and he's making some experiments, and he sees that trellium is reacting with harmonium, and harmonium is Harmony's metal. And so they leave the 2 metals to, what is this? To, hello? Okay. They leave the 2 metals to see how they will react, and then there is an explosion, and I think it is Vandel, possibly. He is a conjurer, and he's the one that says that they have basically what happened, that explosion was energy being released from the metal. And then Wax talks to Harmony because Harmony needs help, and Harmony kind of explains what is going on, what he knows, because he doesn't know everything. And Wax is basically asking about the other god that has appeared, who's called Trell. And Harmony says, Trell is the god Autonomy, what we call a shard of Aldenasium. Autonomy carries power like my own, a dangerous force for manipulating the very nature of reality and existence. Though autonomy is held by a woman named Bavadin, her many different faces or avatars act with independence. Trell, a male god from the ancient records, can be considered one of these. You rarely get to speak to Autonomy herself. As I've come to find, she speaks through avatars. Sometimes pieces of herself that she's allowed to gain a semblance of self-awareness. Sometimes, through chosen people, she has given a portion of her power. Autonomy decided to destroy our world, yet it is a dangerous threat to her. But I believe she has been persuaded to let it persist, so as long as it can be controlled. Autonomy offered me an ultimatum last year, as my blinding was taking effect, and when she assumed I would be the most desperate. She demanded I give this world to her, then move to another. I rejected the demand, and one of the last things I saw was the person Autonomy has chosen, the same person who persuaded her that this world had value, and who presented a plan for its domination. And that person is Wax's sister. And then Marcy also learns more about Trell, and what she learns is, like, someone is telling her, Trell is trying to edge out the other gods. She doesn't like engaging other gods directly. We call them shards, by the way. Autonomy is trying to outcompete the others by filling the Cosmere with versions of herself. Crowd out the competition, so to speak, like an extremely invasive plant moving into another ecosystem and strangling the local varieties. Trellism is the remnants of an ancient religion on your world, originally founded by Autonomy long ago, a seed for when she decided to move in. Now that time has come. Autonomy is looking for someone on this planet to fully take up that role, that identity. She wants to leave a god behind on this planet, someone who bears some of her power, who sees to her interests, and is, in many ways, a piece of her soul. She does this all around the Cosmeres. Some worlds have entire pantheons that are all versions of her, each of which has a distinct personality and identity. And then Marcy asks, she's going to take our world by setting up a rival god and forcing harmony out, and the other person says, basically. So that is what's happening, basically, and that is also, like, where I'm at. And first of all, I did not expect this to be said 6 years later, so I am adjusting to how things are, because things are definitely different. Like, character dynamics are different, and character, like, where they are, what they're doing, some of them are different. And also, Wayne is so sad, and I am not okay with that, because Malin is leaving him basically because she got a task of, like, going out into the Cosmere, like other planets, like, you know, discover other places, explore, and she's leaving. So there's that. Wayne is sad. Also, this book started with a prologue that was following Wayne, and all of the other prologues in the other books have been following Wax, because he's the main character, and this one followed Wayne. And I'm not entirely sure I like that, because I feel like something bad is gonna happen to Wayne. I'm not ready. I'm not gonna be okay with that if that happens. I'm worried, basically. I'm worried, and like I said, I'm adjusting, but also, like, I'm excited with the things that we are finding out. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm definitely having a good time, and I'm gonna read another third, and I'll be back. Okay, so I am on page 334 of the book, and this second third starts off with, like, a fight scene, and the people that our characters are fighting, some of them have spikes, and they know, or they think, that each spike that those people have means the death of an Elomancer, and so they're thinking that means the death of those Elomancers, or supposed Elomancers, that were kidnapped in book 1. And then Harmony sends Death to help. And Death is Marsh, who was, or is, I guess, Kelsier's brother from the first trilogy. And he mentioned Kelsier, and I was like, oh my god, I miss Kelsier. And then we saw Kelsier, which honestly, the highlights of this book so far. And like Marcy met Kelsier, and I was so excited to see Kelsier again because I love Kelsier. I love him so much. And yeah, we saw Kelsier, which was very exciting. And then Tensoon is talking to Wax, I think. And he tells Wax that there might be a way to save Ellendale from the bomb, the explosion that is coming, by using the Band of Mourning. But in the previous book, they made a deal with those people from the south who were the ones that had the Bands of Mourning. They made the deal that the Kandra, I think, would keep the Bands of Mourning and they would not be used by the Ellendale people. But now they want to use them, which the people from the south are not happy with, but they make a deal that, like, you can use it, and, like, if it doesn't work, then we use it. And, well, Wax agrees because he's kind of desperate, and they try to use the Bands of Mourning, but I think they say they're, like, drained of magic, of power, so they don't work, like, nothing happens, and now, like, the people from the south take the bands because they agree to that deal. And then Marcy and the people that she's with, who are like the people that know Kelsier and are like with Kelsier, and they're from like different worlds, different planets. So the world is definitely like expanding, which is also very exciting. And they find the Sed, so like the group that Wax's sister is a part of, they find them creating Elomancers. And then I think the final thing we see is that Wax and Wayne are like involved in a fight scene. And Wax is like worried about Wayne and how he's acting, and he says that they need to talk. And I'm like, I'm worried too, because he's not doing well. Because while they're, in that fight, Wayne is like, fighting someone who was like threatening to hurt him, I guess. And Wayne says, but real pain that comes when you realize what you are, what you've done. Waking up each morning, knowing you're worthless, that's pain. Anything else, anything you could do to me, well, that's just a little bit of fun. I'm like, so sad, because he's so sad. Like, he's suffering, and I'm not okay with that. And that is pretty much, like, where we're at. This was literally, like, 2 pages before I stopped reading, or paused reading. And I'm definitely enjoying it, but I'm not obsessed with it. Like, I'm not as obsessed with it as I expected to be, because like it's the last one in the series and the previous one was 4.5 stars, so I was just so excited to get into this, and I was expecting to just be absolutely obsessed, and I'm not, and I'm not entirely sure why. I think it might be because the characters are all like scattered, doing their thing. We have Marcy doing one thing, Stare is doing another thing, Wax doing another thing. I did really like to see Wax and Wayne together again, like at the end, except the part that Wayne is really fucking sad, and that is making me sad. But yeah, I miss the characters all working together, because that's what I really, really, really loved in book 3. Like, I absolutely love that, and it is not happening here, and that's definitely making me not love the book as much. But I mean, in terms of the plot, like, I'm excited and I'm invested and I'm very worried. And it was also really fun to see Kelsier again, and overall I am enjoying it. I'm just not obsessed with it. But anyway, I'm going to finish it and I'll tell you what happened and what I think. Okay, so I have finished the book, and in this last third, Wax talks to Autonomy, like that god that wants to destroy their world, and she says that he shouldn't really be worried about the bomb that's gonna destroy Ellendale as much as he should be worried about the destruction that she'll send if the bomb doesn't work. And then Marcy finds those people that were kidnapped back in book 1, the Elomancers, or like supposed Elomancers, and they're all being like kept like hidden away from society, and they have been told that the world has already ended, and they're like the almost only survivors, and they are being, kept there, and they are being used. And then Mercy is found by the people that are like watching over that place. But then she manages to like escape. I am sorry, but there is something wrong with my hair as usual. And yeah, she manages to like escape, and she and the like those people that were kidnapped, they manage to like stop something from happening, like basically doing Maris's part of the plan. And then at the same time, Wax is with Wayne, and there's like a super awesome fight scene involving the two of them. And then they also finally talk about what is happening with Wayne. And Wayne is still incredibly sad and feeling very down. And while they're talking, Wayne says, "I'm good at pretending to be things I ain't, you know. I eventually put together how to feign being a person who was worth something. It's a good lie. Still manage to believe it most of the time." And like, that is so sad. And, Wax kind of, makes him see that he is worth it. Like, he is a great person, and like, he's awesome. And he like gave Wax the motivation that Wax needed. Like, he changed Wax's life. And that does make Wayne like feel kind of better. But then things go wrong again, because Harmony like talks to the two of them, and Wayne has a plan on how to save Ellendale. And that plan can only really be done by him, because he's the only one that has enough practice with the power that is going to be needed to stop the bomb and like to stop the explosions. And so Wayne, like they're on the boat, and Wayne pushes Wax off the boat, and then he is gonna like stop the bomb, and he knows that he's gonna die in the explosion. And he like Harmony gives him a metal, the metal that is used to create Mistborns, and like it was used in like the first trilogy. And so he becomes a Mistborn, and so like much more powerful, and now he can use the power that he already used, but more powerfully. And he like there is still an explosion, but it's very contained, and Wayne dies, which was devastating to me. And that was like pretty much the end of the book. Then we have like 40 pages worth of epilogues, which was a lot, and we have like epilogues from everyone's point of view basically. And Kelsier, like, he knows that there is something wrong with Harmony, and he also tells Harmony that they should create Mistborns, because like their enemies will come back. And also people built a statue for Wayne, which was amazing, especially because they made the statue like have different hats, like the hats would be changed. And because like Wayne had an obsession with hats, and I love that. And then Mercy was gonna go to the south to be an ambassador, and then she is planning on running for governor. And that is pretty much how it ended. And let's go into my final thoughts. So starting off with the characters as usual, I feel like everyone and their dynamics were so different in this book. So definitely I needed like a period to adjust to the changes, and I still didn't love that they were all so scattered, but I still really, really like the characters. And I was sad that Malin left like pretty much in the beginning of the book. And Steris, even though she was in Ellendale throughout the entire book, like she was barely in the book, like, on page time, she barely had any. And I love Steris. And obviously, even more sad was the fact that Wayne was sad this whole book. And once he was finally, starting to feel better, he died. And I was expecting something like that to happen, but it was still devastating. Like, I was so sad. I'm still sad because I finished this last night. I am still so incredibly sad about this. And I mean, I definitely like the last third more because we spent most of it with like Wax and Wayne together. And that reminded me of like their dynamic in the previous books. So I really, really loved that part. And also, like, I think I said that Wax had a child. He actually had, I think, 2 children. So there's that. Not that they were like very present in the book anyway, but at the end, like when they were reuniting, I think it had 2 children actually. And I definitely like the last third of the book more, like in terms of the characters and also like in general, like I was more excited, but maybe I was more excited because of the character dynamics, because like I was invested in the plot the whole way through, but like I think I said, I think my problem was that the character dynamics weren't gripping me as much as before. So I think the fact that I liked Wayne and Wax together in the last third also contributed to me liking or being more invested in the plot and what was happening more in the last third. But yeah, like I also really liked to see Kelsier again because I love Kelsier, and it was also really interesting to see like more, like learn more of the Cosmere, because we learn more about other places and other people from, you know, other planets and stuff. So that was really interesting as well, and I'm very excited to read more books in that world. And yeah, I overall really enjoyed it, and I am giving it 4 stars. And so yeah, that is everything for this video, and that is everything for this series, at least until Era 3 comes out. I have no idea when that is gonna be. But yeah, that is everything for this video, and so thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!